Hi Yvonne, it's Yvonne here. Welcome to my craft room. On our Throwback Thursday, we're going to do a project with a stamp set by the Bay, and it was featured in the Celebration Catalog March 31st, 2019. It's a pretty stamp set, and a customer of mine asked, how did they make this card? So let's do it. First of all, you start off with Night of Navy, 4 1/4 by 11, and it's going to be a tent fold, so you're going to score it at 5 1/2. Piece of Shimmery White, 4 inches by 5 1/2, that's going to fit on the front of your card like that, and that's what you're going to get stamped on. And a scrap of Mango Melody with the sentiment you're going to use for the sentiment. Now, for the reinforcement on the back of this, and I'll show you, I took a piece of Whisper White and I cut it 3 7/8 by 5 3/8, and I cut out the center with the die number 3, which is the die set that we'll be using, and it's called the Rectangular Stitched Framelits dies. And I cut the this out here with the number 3rd largest one. This is the one we're going to use, the number 4 one, that's actually going to cut out the stamped image. So to start off with, we'll get our Stamparatus out. I love this. And for this card, in the catalog there, they cut it, or they stamped it with Black Stazon, and we've got this new Saddle Brown Stazon, which I just thought, oh, this would be fun to try. Let's try this. So this is a Stazon ink, so you can use your Aqua Painters, which we're going to use to color this, and you don't have to worry about the stamp running because it's a Stazon ink. So we're going to ink this up generously. This is a beauty with the Stamparatus. If you it doesn't quite totally stamp for the first time. So what I've done is I lined up my stamp and I put some post-it notes here just as a guide so I wouldn't forget where to put it. And how I decided I was going to do this was I took this die that I'm going to cut and I sort of placed it where I thought I would cut out with the paper. So now I'm going to stamp this. Give it a nice press. Oh, that looks nice. Just a little bit more. Right, that looks great. Okay. I'll just put the scrap here in case I need to restamp it, then it won't get on my cover. Okay, so now I'm going to close the stamp pad. Now I also stamped this on a piece of scrap paper, and you can see I already used it once, but I cut it out with my scissors, and I put a little bit of stickiness on it, and I just used from the box store. You can get this, it's called a removable adhesive, and so I just put some of that on the back. You could stamp this on a piece of post-it note and get the same idea. Okay, so let's cut this out. Get a big shot in. Hope you can see this. Okay, so on this image, I want to cut this out with some of the bottom and the top showing and kind of center it nicely. And you can use a post-it note, or I use some of this removable Scotch tape, which is hard to find, just to place the die. Comes over just a tad more, I think. Oh, so that'll just hold it in place while I cut it. Oh, sorry for the wiggly table. Right, that looks great. So this is going to be mounted on our cardstock, and this is going to be put in behind it. So this is the piece we're going to do the coloring with. We'll keep this, put this aside. This is going to be part of your card. Okay, so take a peek of scrap paper. And I got 3 sponge daubers here. And you're going to use pumpkin. We're going to do the sky first, so we use pumpkin pie, Mango Melody, and Daffodil Delight. And my Mango Melody and Daffodil Delight, I just re-inked them. They look a little splotchy on the ink pad, but that's okay. I hope it's not too wet and inky for this. Okay, so place this over top. This is just going to keep your image from getting, you don't accidentally get that on top. Just a little smidgen up there. Okay, so now with your sponge daubers, start off with your pumpkin pie at the horizon. Just kind of do a test drive there, and put this way, and you won't accidentally lift up the edge of your paper while you're doing this. I love the card, this sample card that we're doing, because I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a sunrise or a sunset, but it's just gorgeous. It reminds me of the countryside in Ireland, where I have family there that I miss dearly, 2 grandsons I miss dearly. Okay, so now I'm going to take Mango Melody and I'm going to blend that in. And when you're doing this, make sure you keep your strokes going all the same direction, or you'll end up with this weird. You can start blending it a bit, but just be careful. Okay, I think that's enough. And then the Daffodil Delight. Just bring that up. And I think the card just kind of, I might have gotten that too dark, but I think the card just kind of fades into nothing there. Just kind of cool. Okay, there you've done your, isn't that marvelous? Okay, so now I'm going to start doing the aqua painting. And the colors may surprise you, because it's, when I figured out what was all used here. Okay, I'm going to start my Aqua Painter, and you know these are great. I've got the smaller tip, and to change it, you just, when you're changing the ink and color, just squeeze a bit of water to clean your brush. Make sure that, there, see, and it cleans it all off. You don't want this brush too wet when you're doing it, so you just, it looks a little watery. I don't want that watery. Okay. I'll just do the roof a bit here. A little too watery. Let's get a little more intense color here. See, with that Stazon ink, it doesn't run. Okay. Well, let's do the door while we're at it. Okay, and now we'll take some soft suede. Don't use too much of that, just a little bit. This is soft suede. And just do the roof of this little shed here. Okay. That's all I can think of right now to use for that color. Then I'm going to take some crumb cake. And I'm just going to do some bit of shadows here. see in this roof. There's a house in the far distance here. Let's give it a little bit of brown there. Okay. I may come back to that color afterwards. Let's see. Okay, Granny Apple. No, I think I'm going to use I can use some Granny Apple Green. And to do this, just squeeze your lid, and that gives you a little bit more ink on here. Just give yourself a test. Oh yeah, like that. So I'm just going to give some light here. When you're trying to decide, well, what colors and where do I use it, look at the stamp, and the stamp is going to give you some hints whether it should be light or dark. You can see you can use the darker parts of the image for your darker greens and your lighter. Okay, so that's starting to, you can see that a little better. Let's take some garden green and work on that just a tad. Now be careful because this is a pretty strong color. Okay, so we need to put some, that's a rock wall in the front, I think. So let's use some, let's see here, I think I'll use gray granite. Okay, a little bit of that in there. Oops, didn't squeeze it hard enough. The newer stamp pads you find are a little tough to do this. I don't think I use much, don't need much there. And you see here, there's kind of an archway there that you see. Isn't that marvelous how it just pops out with a bit of color? Let's give this just a little bit more. That's better. I don't know about you, but I got weak thumbs. Sometimes this is hard to do. Okay. Now you can see there's a rock wall here. If you follow the stamped images, you see that road is going a little further. Just pop in a little bit of gray here. Okay, and I'm going to go back with a little bit of, I think, crumb cake. Do a little more of that bank. I don't want this too dark. There we go. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Now we just need to put a bit of blue in there. Let's try some Balmy blue. I think would be pretty color for the water. We don't want it too turquoisey, but we don't want it too darky blue either. Okay, try this. Oh yeah, I like that. This is going to tie in nicely with the Night of Navy on the sides. It'll just tie that blue in just nice. Okay, I think that's it. I don't want to overkill it. You don't want, especially with watercolors, you start to lose the texture of the paper underneath if you water it down too much. Okay, so let's let that dry. Put away sponges and paper. We'll stamp the sentiment. Now the sentiment, it's may all your paths lead to happiness, and I'm going to use this subtle brown again, and I'm going to use this label called a Washi label, and it's retired too, but you know what, you could use any size of label. I just thought this would be fun to try. Now, on this card, I'm going to cut it, punch it like so. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to make this a little bit of a flag. So I'm going to cut here to the corner. Okay. So we've got that done. Okay, so let's assemble this card now. Right, so for this piece, I want to put this on the back of it just as some reinforcement. Okay, just a bit of Tombow. It's just to help this frame because it's a narrow piece. I don't want it to lose its shape or kind of sag, you know what I mean? So this piece and behind it will just help reinforce that. Okay, that's just going to stiffen that up really nice. Okay, close this. I've had disasters before leaving stamp pads open. Okay, well, let's take our cardstock, and you'll see I've scored it already. Give it a nice crisp fold with your bone folder. Okay, so that's where I'm going to put that. So we'll put some dimensionals on the back. And I would say on this, be generous with your dimensionals so it gives it that shape. You can see what's coming up. The tricky part to this is putting the inside piece, lining it up. And I hope I do a nice job of that, recording it. You never know. Okay, I probably used 3 times the amount of dimensionals I would normally do, but I want this frame shape to stand up so that, like I said, it doesn't sag when you're putting the card in. Oh, Here's a quick, I don't know if I can do it on camera, but I saw this done by other demonstrators, and they do this so marvelously quickly. They take this and they can peel this off. I'm not doing it quite as well as they do it, but they make it look so easy and fun. Okay. Okay, I might have to get my head in the way, stand up to do this. Well, let's hope I get it the first time. Yeah, it looks pretty. Ooh, that's crooked. No, 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 no. Quick, quick, quick. Might be too late. Let's see if I can do this. Ah, saved. Okay. Now, this piece that I finished, and you see, I used shimmery white card, and you can see now that it's starting to dry, it's getting a lovely shimmery effect. So that's going to go inside, and see how you get that finished with the stamped on the outside? I'm not going to put too much Tombow on here. Just because I want some wiggle room here. Okay, so line this up. Oh, there you go. Isn't that great? There's your finished card. I just love that with the shimmery white, how it dries and it gives a bit of shimmer to that. Okay, so your sentiment, I'm going to pop that on like that. So we're just going to put the dimensionals on this half. And just a little bit of Tombow here. Take the backing off. The dimensional will help. There you go. There, let's see how it... You need lots of dimensionals there just to keep that so it's raised. What a lovely card. I hope you can see that. So there's my Throwback Thursday. Beautiful stamp set by the Bay, and it has other stamped images on it. Would make lovely cards. For example, look at these, the seagulls, and this is a shell in the sand. I hope you try, if you've got this stamp set and you haven't tried it, get it out, give it a try. You'll be absolutely pleased with that. And so I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for coming to my craft room, and we'll see you again. Bye for now.